The Second Amendment means I am my own chief executive and commander-in-chief of my own military. I authorize my own act of self-defense in response to a hostile entity making war on me and my family. This is the opening paragraph of a 4-page document that proclaims to be written by Luigi Mangione, the person who police are charging with the assassination of the CEO of United Healthcare. This document was published on a now-deleted Substack website on December 9th, 2024, the same day that Luigi Mangione was arrested. But before its deletion, it was saved on archive.is, and since then, a small handful of news outlets have quoted it or drawn information from it. The document claims to be, quote, Luigi Mangione's last words. Well, we now know that is definitely not true because Luigi is still alive and still speaking words. So it's definitely not Luigi Mangione's last words, but are these his words at all? Now, of course, I cannot say for sure, but personally, I think the answer is no. However, I still think that this document should be shared because even though I have doubt that Luigi Mangione is the author, I have no doubt that the person who committed this assassination, whoever they may be, would have deep sympathy for the message of this document and would therefore want it to be shared far and wide. And furthermore, I want it to be shared far and wide, and I think that after you hear it, you'll agree. Although the story it tells may not be Luigi's, it's still a true story. True because it echoes the experience of millions of Americans, and many times more that internationally. And along with the story that it tells, it also has a political message that, let's just say, is interesting. So without further delay, here it is. And I'm just going to read it from my phone. The Allopathic Complex and Its Consequences. Luigi Mangione's last words. The Second Amendment means I am my own chief executive and commander-in-chief of my own military. I authorize my own act of self-defense in response to a hostile entity making war on me and my family. Nelson Mandela says no form of violence can be excused. Camus says it's all the same, whether you live or die or have a cup of coffee. MLK says violence never brings permanent peace. Gandhi says that nonviolence is the mightiest power available to mankind. That's who they tell you are heroes. That's who our revolutionaries are. Yet, is that not capitalistic? Nonviolence keeps the system working at full speed ahead. What did it get us? Look in the mirror. They want us to be nonviolent so that they can grow fat off the blood they take from us. The only way out is through. Not all of us will make it. Each of us is our own chief executive. You have to decide what you will tolerate. In Gladiator 1, Maximus cuts into the military tattoo that identifies him as part of the Roman legion. His friend asks, "Is that the sign of your god?" As Maximus carves deeper into his own flesh, as his own blood drips down his skin, Maximus smiles and nods yes. The tattoo represents the emperor, who is God. The God emperor has made himself part of Maximus' own flesh. The only way to destroy the emperor is to destroy himself. Maximus smiles through the pain because he knows it is worth it. These might be my last words. I don't know when they will come for me. I will resist them at any cost. That's why I smile through the pain. They diagnosed my mother with severe neuropathy when she was 41 years old. She said it started 10 years before that, with burning sensations in her feet and occasional sharp stabbing pains. At first, the pain would last a few moments, then fade to tingling, then numbness, then fade to nothing a few days later. The first time the pain came, she ignored it. Then it came a couple times a year, and she ignored it. Then every couple months, then a couple times a month, then a couple times a week. At that point, by the time the tingling faded to numbness, the pain would start, and the discomfort was constant. At that point, even going from the couch to the kitchen to make her own lunch became a major endeavor. She started with ibuprofen until the stomach aches and acid reflux made her switch to acetaminophen. Then the headaches and barely sleeping made her switch back to ibuprofen. The first doctor said it was psychosomatic. Nothing was wrong. She needs to relax, de-stress, sleep more. The second doctor said it was a compressed nerve in her spine. She needed back surgery. It would cost $180,000. Recovery would be 6 months minimum before walking again, 12 months for full potential recovery, and she would never lift more than 10 pounds of weight again. The third doctor performed a nerve conduction study, electromyography, MRI, and blood tests. Each test cost $800 to $1,200. She hit the $6,000 deductible of her United Healthcare plan in October. Then the doctor went on vacation, and my mother wasn't able to resume tests until January, when her deductible reset. The tests showed severe neuropathy. The $180,000 surgery would have no effect. They prescribed opioids for the pain. At first, the pain relief was worth the price of constant mental fog and constipation. She didn't tell me about that until later. All I remember is we took a trip for the first time in years, when she drove me to Monterey to go to the aquarium. I saw an otter in real life swimming on their back. We left at 7 a.m. and listened to Green Day on the 4-hour car ride. Over time, the opioids stopped working. They made her more sensitive to pain, and she felt withdrawal symptoms after just 2 or 3 hours. Then gabapentin. By now the pain was so bad she couldn't exercise, which compounded the weight gain from the slowed metabolic rate and hormonal shifts. And it barely helped the pain and made her so fatigued she would go an entire day without getting out of bed. Then corticosteroids, which didn't even work. The pain was so bad, I would hear my mother wake up in the night screaming in pain. I would run into her room asking if she was okay. Eventually, stopped getting up. She'd yell out anguished shrieks of wordless pain, or the word, "Fuck!" stretched and distended to its limits. I'd turn over and go back to sleep. All of this while they bled us dry with follow-up appointment after follow-up appointment, specialist consultations, and more image scans. Each appointment was promised to be fully covered until the insurance claims were delayed and denied. Allopathic medicine did nothing to help my mother's suffering. Yet it is the foundation of our entire society. My mother told me that on a good day, the nerve pain was like her legs were immersed in ice water. On a bad day, it felt like her legs were clamped in a machine shop vise, screwed down to where the cranks stopped turning, then crushed further until her ankle bones splintered and cracked to accommodate the tightening clamp. She had more bad days than good. My mother crawled to the bathroom on her hands and knees. I slept in the living room to create more distance from her cries in the night. I still woke up and still went back to sleep. Back then, I thought there was nothing I could do. The high copays made consistent treatment impossible. New treatments were denied as not medically necessary. Old treatments didn't work and still put us out for thousands of dollars. United Healthcare limited specialist consultations to twice a year. Then they refused to cover advanced imaging, which the specialists required for an appointment. Prior authorizations took weeks, then months. United Healthcare constantly changed their claim filing procedure. They said my mother's doctor needed to fax his notes. Then United Healthcare said they did not save faxed patient correspondence and required a hard copy of the doctor's typed notes to be mailed. Then they said they never received the notes. They were unable to approve the claim until they had received and filed the notes. They promised coverage and broke their word to my mother. With every delay, my anger surged. With every denial, I wanted to throw the doctor through the glass wall of their hospital waiting room. But it wasn't them. It wasn't the doctors, the receptionists, administrators, pharmacists, imaging technicians, or anyone we ever met. It was United Healthcare. People are dying. Evil has become institutionalized. Corporations make billions of dollars off the pain, suffering, death, and anguished cries in the night of millions of Americans. We entered into an agreement for healthcare with a legally binding contract that promised care commensurate with our insurance payments and medical needs. Then, United Healthcare changes the rules to suit their own profits. They think they make the rules, and think that because it's legal, that no one can punish them. They think there's no one out there who will stop them. Now, my own chronic back pain wakes me in the night, screaming in pain. I sought out another type of healing that showed me the real antidote to what ails us. I bide my time, saving the last of my strength to strike my final blows. All extractors must be forced to swallow the bitter pain they deal out to millions. As our own chief executives, it's our obligation to make our own lives better. First and foremost, we must seek to improve our own circumstances and defend ourselves. As we do so, our actions have ripple effects that can improve the lives of others. Rules exist between two individuals in a network that covers the entire Earth. Some of these rules are written down. Some of these rules emerge from natural respect between two individuals. Some of these rules are defined in physical laws, like the properties of gravity, magnetism, or the potential energy stored in the chemical bonds of potassium nitrate. No single document better encapsulates the belief that all people are equal in fundamental worth and moral status, and the frameworks for fostering collective well-being than the U.S. Constitution. Writing a rule down makes it into a law. I don't give a fuck about the law. Law means nothing. What does matter is following the guidance of our own logic and what we learn from those before us to maximize our own well-being, which will then maximize the well-being of our loved ones and community. That's where United Healthcare went wrong. They violated their contract with my mother, with me, and tens of millions of other Americans. This threat to my own health, my family's health, and the health of our country's people requires me to respond with an act of war. End. So, there you go. I feel like I don't really want to add my own commentary on the essay. I just want to let it speak for itself. But I do want to make some commentary on the broader, more general situation that inspired it. Though actually, real quick, I do want to say I don't agree that the US Constitution is the greatest document for proclaiming equality and fostering well-being. And also, because YouTube has very strict punishments for certain types of free speech, I have to say this. Hello, YouTube. Please know that everything I say in this video, shit. Nothing that I say in this video is meant to endorse or promote any type of illegal behavior. I'm just sharing information. Thank you. The way I see it is this. The horrible pain and impairment and financial ruin and death that is caused by people being denied healthcare coverage is ultimately caused by capitalism and by the governments that uphold this system. Yes, CEOs are guilty of having blood on their hands and blood money in their bank accounts. And yes, insurance companies are literally making profit from denying healthcare and are thus in the business of spreading suffering and death. But these are just symptoms of the capitalist system. Getting rich off of blood money is not just permitted by capitalism, it's encouraged by it and rewarded by it. And we see this not just in the health insurance industry, right? In pretty much any industry that you can think of. If you look deep enough, you can see that in some way or another, they are profiting off of blood money, even if it's usually not quite as extreme and explicit as it is in the health insurance industry. So if you agree that capitalism is a shitty system, but you're not really sure what could possibly take its place that wouldn't be equally shitty or, even worse, I'd like to recommend my video, Post-Capitalism, a detailed look at how it could work. And the link to that is in the video description and also in the pinned comment down below. And just straight out the gate, I really want to say that if you are wondering if, because I'm against capitalism, does that mean that I'm in favor of the type of system that existed in the Soviet Union or that exists in like Sweden or other Nordic countries or that exists or existed in China? The answer is no, no, and no. The alternatives that I discuss in that video are nothing like any of these. I reject capitalism and I also reject the state. And I think that every single government in the world is illegitimate and a tool for oppression. That's how I see it. And I'm not the only one. So I think that both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are trash and that's where they belong. In the trash can of history. And I feel the same about all political parties for upholding a system that runs on blood-drenched profits and subjugation. I don't want to disparage the good intentions that some individuals have in at least some of these parties somewhere in the world. And I'm not saying that no good has ever been done by any party anywhere. Of course, that's been the case. But at the end of the day, they are all truly, literally upholding a system that runs on blood-soaked profits and subjugation. Anyways, if you're someone who thinks that, maybe actually capitalism is not such a bad system, maybe it's okay, then I would like to recommend to you another video that is called Why Capitalism Doesn't Work, Response to PragerU. The link is in the video description and in the pinned comment. And there's one more video I'd like to recommend, especially because I realized that this video, the one you're watching right now, it may get some views from people who have politics that are quite different from the people who usually watch this channel. And this video is called, Is Right-Wing Philosophy Like Cocaine? And again, the link is in the video description and in the pinned comment. And in this video, I analyze a philosophical outlook that is quite common among people who lean to the political right. And I try to do so in a way that is fair and that, is coming from a place of empathy and does so without strawmanning. Okay, thank you for watching. I mean, honestly, thank you for watching. And please remember to at least try to love yourself and each other. Not just love as in the feeling you have within you, but also love in terms of the actions you take. And sometimes we can't always muster the feeling as much as we would like to or as much as we should, but we can at least muster the will to take the action to treat ourselves in a loving way and treat each other in a loving way. And also, and this is just my opinion, I can't speak with any sort of ultimate authority, but in my opinion, love can be tender and love can also be fierce, like a mama bear defending her cubs. Okay. Bye. See you next time.